Hey, thanks for stopping by. My name is Brandon. Earlier this year, Busch Gardens sent out a guest survey with several ride concepts attached within. The range of rides was impressive, ranging from smaller family rides all the way to roller coasters eclipsing 300 feet in height. I was lucky enough to receive the survey, and now I'd like to break down what was inside. The first ride concept is a flying theater similar to Expedition Odyssey at SeaWorld Orlando. Imagine the ride system to be identical to the one at SeaWorld, the key difference being the ride film shown in the African wilderness instead of the Arctic. Seems like a no-brainer addition at a park that currently has no indoor attractions, and should be installed as soon as possible. The second ride concept is a family roller coaster. The first option specifies being indoors and mentions that it would be the first of its kind in the United States. The second option includes the mention of music in its description, and seems to put more emphasis on theming within the ride itself. The descriptions both mention zigzagging, which leads me to believe this would be a Wild Mouse style roller coaster. Wild Mice typically have single cars that run the course, but these concept photos show trains with multiple cars. All this leads me to believe this attraction would be an RMC Wild Moose, as it's a Wild Mouse style ride with multi-car trains that would be the first in the US. I like the concept art for the second option a good deal more, but between the two options I'd go with the indoor option, as rides that can operate during the rain are critically needed at this park. The third ride concept is a launch coaster. Option 1 is referred to as Jungle Chase Launch Coaster. It appears to have a story where animals commandeer the vehicles, which leads to the tour vehicles going off course. Theming sounds nice, with the mention of going through caves, brush, and a moonlit watering hole. Option 2 is referred to as a revolutionary multi-launch indoor coaster. There's some bold claims here, with the ride claiming to be the tallest multi-launch indoor coaster in the United States, have a never-before-seen launch system, and onboard audio that varies with each ride and can be changed for seasonal events. There isn't much clarity on what model either of these would be, but I would assume the manufacturer would be either Vekoma or Intamin. The Jungle Coaster could be any form of launch coaster, but a swing launch Intamin like Pantheon could be plausible given the history of the Busch parks mirroring each other's editions. The different music tracks on option 2 makes me think of Cosmic Rewind, but with a more intense layout in place of the controlled spinning. If I had a better idea of what exactly each ride was, my opinion might change. But yet again, I'm going to go with the indoor coaster option, as indoor capacity is desperately needed at this park. The description of the Jungle Coaster also sounds very similar to Cheetah Hunt, while the indoor coaster sounds wholly unique. The fourth ride concept is the one everyone seems to want the most. Coming in at over 300 feet tall, what will be the new tallest roller coaster in Florida, the elusive Giga coaster. This has long been a rumor for this park, with things becoming more credible in 2025 when this initial image was put on a guest feedback survey. This iteration was notable for mentioning the Serengeti Plain, which could hint that the ride would run near the safari, giving an unbelievable view of Busch's African wildlife. The more recent survey once again had a Giga coaster as an option. The first iteration on this new survey was called the African Colossal Coaster. This option is notable for its emphasis on theming. Guests would traverse a themed queue that appears to provide nice shade before boarding the ride. The finale sounds superb, with a dive through a tree tunnel, followed by traversing past rockwork at high speeds. The second iteration is a bit more nondescript in both its concept image and its description. At first glance, one would question why the option is even on the survey, as it seems redundant. When you see it though, it changes everything. Tallest continuous circuit coaster in the United States. This would be a Giga coaster that is taller and faster than the mighty Fury 325. Both of these options have incredible advantages and would be amazing at the park. I had to go back and forth on this one for a bit, but ultimately I'm willing to sacrifice ride theming if the ride is bigger than the Fury 325. I've heard the endless complaining about Orion for years. I feel like something similar would happen if the themed option was picked. So the theming budget would likely end up with a scaled down roller coaster closer to 300 feet. Hitting 330 feet or more would be a game changer. As long as the layout is comparable to Fury 325, Busch Gardens Tampa would arguably have the world's greatest 1-2 punch at a park. Having the Giga be 330 feet and have theming would be an absolute dream, but I'm sure a choice has to be made between the two. The final ride concept was a mock water coaster. One was specified as a launch version of the water coaster, while the other did not specify a launch, but seemed to place more emphasis on a ride story. There's a good chance that this will be the new addition for 2027 at the park, and I made a whole video with evidence that you can watch here. This option would be an excellent replacement for the now defunct Stanley Falls Flume. Going by my personal preference, here's how I would rank my desire for each ride to be installed at the park. In last place is the family coaster. This would be a nice addition for the park, but doesn't feel immediately necessary given the recent introduction of Phoenix Rising. In fourth place is the water coaster. This will be wildly popular and will be a great replacement for the Flume, but it's personally not something I'll ride every time I go to the park. In third place is the Flying Theater. This might honestly be the best fit out of all the options for this park, as it would give guests a relaxing alternative attraction in contrast with the park's abundant roller coasters. This would be a great break from the thrills, and I could see myself going to this on the regular. In second place is the Launch Coaster. While it is true that Cheetah Hunt's already a great launch coaster, I've always viewed it as more of a family thrill coaster. It'd be incredibly satisfying to finally get the Maverick sequel that everyone had fantasized about when Cheetah Hunt was first announced for the park. You absolutely cannot go wrong with an extreme launch coaster. First place should be no surprise, as it's been the most discussed and desired addition for this park for over a decade now. The BGT Giga is my most desired roller coaster addition for any park. A capacity monster like this has been needed for some time, and it doesn't get much better than one of these. The park solely lacks an extreme coaster without inversions, and this is arguably the best non-inverting model on the market. Fury 325 almost single-handedly made its park a must-do destination. If the park had the combination of Iron Gwazi and a Fury-level Giga, Busch would be solidly in the discussion of top 5 roller coaster lineups in the world.